And here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Online. This is breaking news coming out of the European Parliament today. So let's get you into this information that has just recently dropped from the European Parliament. Let's get this information up for you. Okay. So this article is coming out of the Daily Mail. It's a British newspaper or UK newspaper. I will put the article in the description box afterwards so you can read for yourself at your own leisure. So the article reads, European Parliament passes watershed resolution calling for reparations for crimes against Africa during the European colonization. Resolution was approved by 535 members of the European Parliament with 80 votes against and 44 abstentions. It calls on EU members to declassify colonial archives and issue public apologies, urges countries to adopt reforms to end discrimination against Afro-Europeans. That's an interesting Afro-Europeans. Okay. Let's delve deeper into this, what this means. So this was on the 28th of March, very quiet. The European Parliament has overwhelmingly backed a watershed resolution calling for reparations for crimes committed in Africa during European colonization. The bill urges European member states to introduce a series of sweeping reforms aimed at tackling structural racism facing millions of Afro-Europeans. It calls on the countries to implement nationwide strategies to deal with discrimination in education, health, housing, policing, the justice system, and politics. I said earlier, the resolution approved by 535 members of the European Parliament with 80 votes against and 44 abstentions also calls on European member states to declassify the colonial archives covering the most disturbing periods of Europe's colonial past and issue public apologies. That's what happens when you eat your Snicker bar before you decide to read. It urges the EU to adopt a workforce diversity and inclusion strategy to address the underrepresentation of ethnic minority officials. As it stands, the EU does not share data on race, ethnicity, or religion because it's considered contrary to equality, The Guardian reports. Very interesting. The text is not legally binding, but it was hailed as a watershed moment campaign groups for specifically focusing on discrimination faced on the continent by estimated 15 million people. Histories of injustice against Africans and people of African descent, including enslavement, forced labor, racial apartheid, massacre, and genocide in the context of European colonialism and the transatlantic slave trade, remains largely unrecognized and unaccounted for at an institutional level in EU member states. The text states. Let's see if we can get further down this page. Bear with me. For whatever reason, it's a bit difficult to read this article because it keeps. Here we go. The resolution. Oh gosh. The resolution was drawn up by British Labour MEP Claude Moraes and was inspired by the racist behaviour experienced by Italian socialist MEP Cecile Kyenge, who served as Italia's first government minister. Pressure is now on European Commission to fund the schemes in the EU's next 7-year budget. Amel Yassif, the chair of the European Network Against Racism, told The Guardian, the vote was a historic watershed moment for the recognition of people of African descent in Europe. She added, the European Parliament is leading the way and sending a signal to EU member states to tackle structural racism that prevents black people from being included in European society. The ball is now in their court. We need concrete action, plans, and specific measures now. So, if there's any more on this article. So, it will be interesting to see how the European Parliament go about this. How will they go about enforcing this? And when they do this, who are they going to have as advisors? It's all very interesting. But it's going to be an awful lot of money for that. And as well as this is a watershed, it's brilliant. I don't want to sound like a naysayer or negative. The first thing I'm thinking is, okay, so you're doing this now. You decided to do this now. What inspired you to start doing it now? And I also think to myself, well, okay, I think my understanding is you give with one hand, you take with another. So you're saying one thing, but what exactly are you going to do? So you're giving with this hand. So this is what you're doing here. What are you doing with this other hand? You know, what are you doing with the other hand? So it sounds great on paper. It sounds great in principle. We'll have to see how it works out in practice. And we'll have to see where they're balancing when they're trying to do this here, the European Parliament trying to do this. What else is going on behind the scenes? It all sounds good, though. And why is it taking them so long to come to make this decision? And why the timing now? I'm always interested in things like this as to why you would want to do something like this now. You know? But anyway, it's positive news. Let's see how they go about putting this into place and executing it. This has been BWTM. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments. As always, thank you for watching, and please share the video. What are your thoughts on this? Have the European Parliament made a good move? Can they enforce it? If so, how would you like to see it enforced? Would love to hear from you. We're out. Take care.